This week on Aristeia 101, it's the scenario King of the Hill. So King of the Hill is a nice change of pace from Conquest and Assault. The scoring zone here is all in the center, and guess where everything happens? That's right, the center. So just to start this game, you would actually set up two different zones. The underdog chooses which they'll be going with. You can get set 1, which is zones 1, 2, and 6, or set 2 of zones 3, 4, and 5. You can deploy your characters anywhere inside or adjacent to your deployment zones. So the scoring zone is the central zone, the one with the big old A Aristeia logo in it. This is where pretty much everything happens. When you deploy, you're going to go to the center, you're going to fight over the center, and it's very beautifully straightforward. So during the objective phase of each round, whether either player has achieved any objectives, which is obviously you want to actually have more characters in the center scoring zone than your opponent. If you do that, well, you get 3 victory points. If it is a tie, and each player has at least, if it's a tie and both players have at least one character inside the scoring zone, well, it's just 1 victory point. So you always want to try and get more characters in than your opponent. This is obviously a great scenario for characters who have abilities related to movement. Can you move a character? Can you move yourself? Displacements, that sort of thing. If you can't be moved, hey, you're a lot more interesting in this scenario. So characters like Hexer, 8-Ball, Musashi, Valkyrie, maybe even, Hammerhead. People who can do things to influence movement on their own or of other characters. This is kind of what you do want. Now, on top of that, there is an additional way to score. Every time you send an enemy character to the infirmary, so long as they were actually inside the scoring zone, you can get a victory point. So, basically, again, this is where all the action happens. You are going to be fairly well clumped up around the center. You are going to want to ideally fight in the center or not. If you have a squishier team, you certainly don't want to die in the center, I'll tell you right now. But this is, we've played this a number of times. This is a fun scenario. Partly because it does certain characters, if you decide to go with ranged characters, primarily, so you got Major Luna, you've got Wild Bill, people like them. They are still fearsome, but at range, which means they're not actively contributing to the number of characters inside the scoring zone. If you pick anyone like that, they need to be on the outside, and as compensation, they need to be trying to eliminate or control enemies inside the scoring zone. So for instance, if you have Major Luna, well, she needs to make sure either someone never gets in the scoring zone, and that's either by sending them to the infirmary or using suppressive fire to slow them down. But on top of that, she wants to eliminate people inside the scoring zone to, again, make sure that the odds are favoring her team. Hammerhead can be fun because, hey, he can displace somebody. Valkyrie can get inside, and once she's inside, she's going to be a lot harder to remove because she can't be moved or placed by opponents. She's really cool that way. You get someone like, say, Senator Massacre. Hey, you know what? He taunts you, he teleports next to you, and he's inside the zone. I mean, there's a lot of fun and interesting things. And the fact that the zone never changes and it's always clumped up like that, I think gives this a really distinctively different feel. And it's very, direct. It's just an in-your-face scenario. Now you win this, as you normally do, in the 5th round, whoever has the most victory points, or whoever has scored 8 or more victory points at the end of a turn. If there is a tie, then whoever collects the most frag tokens wins. This is a fun scenario. We've done it a number of times on the channel. By all means, check it out. And I hope you are trying all these scenarios out, because scenarios that some characters shine in are not always the same ones. So if you want a short, brutal game, or a long one, or you've got a character you really want to like, but they're not working for you in one scenario or another, go through them. The different goals and scoring conditions means that you're going to find a spot for a lot of the roster, just depending on what the scenario is. And that's actually one of the things I really, really love about Aristeia. But that's King of the Hill. It's nice, it's simple, it's easy to understand. I've got one friend of mine who he just moved back to the mainland, to the east coast of the United States. He would love this scenario because he's all about the combat, the fighting. This is a great one for him. So, like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.